Hi everyone, and welcome to this international webinar about the future of engineering and specifically engineering here at University West. You will soon be joined by Joel Andersson, Professor in Material Science and Director of Production Technology here at the university. But first, some specifics for the webinar. I know that some of you are expecting interpretation in Vietnamese, and due to some technical restrictions, that line of interpretation will be written as Chinese. So if you're going to the Chinese channel, the language spoken there will be Vietnamese. So sorry for any confusion, but it is what it is. My name is Ebba, and I work at the international office here at University West. And with me, other than Joel, I have Madeline, who will be answering questions in the Q&A during the webinar. And in the end, we will also have a live Q&A session with questions specifically regarding engineering here at University West. Yeah, that was it from me. So now I welcome Joel Andersson. Welcome. And take the scene, so to speak.
Thank you, Ebba. So it's great to be part of this international webinar, and we really look forward in having you here in Sweden in the future. So as Ebba said, my name is Joel Andersson, and I'm a professor of material science and also responsible for one of our two areas of strength at University West, that is the one on production technology. And I will try to guide you through both research as well as education tied to our Department of Engineering Science. So I hope you will enjoy this overview. And as I said, we welcome you to Sweden. It will be a great adventure. So Sweden, maybe all of you do not know where Sweden is located, but you have to go far up north. So in Scandinavia, that is in between Norway and to the west, and Denmark in the south, you find Sweden. And to our east, we have Finland. So that's where you find Sweden. And it's a big country, but not very densely populated. So there are few people, around 10 million, spread primarily along the coastlines of Sweden. So in Sweden, you will not face any problem in communicating in English. Even my 11-year-old son knows English. So if you don't learn Swedish, you will cope well in English. So that's no problem. Trollhättan, it's a very beautiful town with some water. We have the Göta River that flows through the city of Trollhättan. And in Trollhättan, we also have great waterfalls. If you look at the map, you find Sweden. And if we zoom in, you see the largest lake in Sweden, Lake Vänern. So Trollhättan and University West is located just south of Lake Vänern on the west coast of Sweden. So it's also close to the sea. So during summer, you have a great possibility either for a sweet water lake swim or in the salt water in the Nordic Sea. University West and Trollhättan then as a city and university, it's University West is located in the city center. It's a fairly newly built campus with a newly renovated, well-equipped to welcome you and to take part of state-of-the-art teaching and research facilities. As I mentioned before, Göta River is floating through the city of Trollhättan, making it very beautiful, especially with the great waterfalls that you find in the city of Trollhättan. It's a small, medium-sized town in Swedish measures. So 60,000 inhabitants, roughly. And it's the hometown of several large industries that have shaped Trollhättan from the very start of its foundation. And Trollhättan is also very close to the second largest city of Sweden, that is Gothenburg. So in Gothenburg you have international airports, and it's a larger town than roughly 1 million inhabitants. So it's only 35 minutes train ride from Gothenburg to the city of Trollhättan. So you can explore a larger city if you want to do that while studying at University West. University West is, as I said, located in Trollhättan, and it has about 700 employees. We have about 14,000 students. Where in these 14,000 students, there are about 6,000 full-time equivalents. So there are a number of students who take part-time courses, etc. But roughly 14,000 individuals that are enrolled in various types of education. We have 27 undergrad programs and 17 second cycle type of programs. And we also, as I mentioned in the very beginning, we have 2 areas of strength where we have a research permit, and that is work integrated learning as well as production technology. But if we look a little bit, if we rewind to the very start of University West, the university was specifically the activities within engineering science was started as a request from some companies that had a great need for a local and a regional development and training of engineers. And these companies were, for instance, a very large hydropower company called Vattenfall, former Saab Automobile, as well as former Volvo Aero Corporation, that is now known as GKN Aerospace. So they requested to the government to establish a local or regional university that could help them in training of engineers that could support their respective business. So that was the start of University West, and I said the youngest and most agile university in Sweden. In '93, we had approval to start up our undergrad education, Bachelor of Science. And then there was also some discussions within among the politicians that you also need to start up research. So at that time, we had discussions with the stakeholders that want to bring up University West. We had discussions with them. What type of research should we do? And that's when we moved into production technology and specifically thermal spray. So thermal spraying is the oldest university or research area at University West. It started in 1994 together with Volvo Aero Corporation. And Volvo Aero Corporation became GKN Aerospace in 2012. In 1999, we had a Master of Science education. And in 2008, we moved into our large research facility that we refer to as the Production Technology Center. And in 2012, we had permission from the government to also examine PhD students within the area of production technology. And in 2023, we started up something that we refer to the complete academic environment, for which I'm responsible for when it comes to production technology. And complete academic environment refers very much on how you as an undergrad student should be enrolled as an undergrad student and be able to go all the way from undergrad to second cycle and third cycle doctoral studies. So if you're enrolled at University West on undergrad level within the area of engineering, then you can also become a doctor within production technology if you continue your studies. If we look a little bit about the organization of University West, on the top we have the Vice Chancellor, and as I said before, 2 areas of strength. So to the left you have the complete academic environment of work integrated learning, and then to the right you have the one on production technology. And then you also have 4 different departments. So we have Department of Health Sciences, we have the Department of Social and Behavioral Studies, we have the Department of School and Business, Economics and IT. And then what is focused on here today is the Department of Engineering Science. So if we dive deeper into the Department of Engineering Science, we can further divide that into 5 different divisions. So it's the division of electrical engineering, it's computer engineering, and it's industrial automation, and it's industrial economy and mechanical engineering. And if we dive further into 3 out of these 5 divisions, I can say that these 3 divisions, that is industrial automation, industrial economy, and mechanical engineering, these 3 divisions, they build up the research environment on production technology. So if we look into production technology, we can focus on the bullet list there. So basically, within production technology, we have 6 thematic research areas. I mentioned thermal spray before, that's our oldest research area. And then we have additive manufacturing in terms of powder bed fusion, and we have welding and welding-based additive manufacturing. We have non-destructive evaluation, we have flexible automation, and we have operations supply chain management. So these 6 thematic research areas build up the complete academic environment of production technology. And then, as I mentioned before, we also have computer engineering and electrical engineering, but these 2 areas are outside production technology. And if we look on specifically on the research within production technology, it's roughly 85-90 researchers under the flag of production technology, and we have roughly an annual turnover of roughly 10 million euros or $10 million in terms of external research. And we collaborate with more than 80 different companies. And many of these companies are global companies and doing very highly competitive type of business. What I can also mention is that GKN Aerospace, for instance, they have their headquarters within engine systems right here in Trollhättan. So they have more than 2,000 employees doing both design and manufacturing of aero engine components, as well as components for space and military aircrafts. So when you fly to Sweden in the near future, you will for sure be dependent on components that have been designed and manufactured here in Trollhättan, because more than 90% of all the commercial jet engines in the world have components being manufactured here in Trollhättan by GKN Aerospace. So we are committed to bring you safely here to Sweden. If we focus then on production technology, we can start on the different levels in terms of education. And on the very bottom level, or elementary level, we can say that we have a preparatory year for those who do not have the prerequisites in order to start undergrad studies. We also do a fair amount of vocational education. And as for now, within production technology, we have robotic welding. It's a 1-year program. But I have highlighted mechanical engineering on the undergrad program in terms of bachelor education. So the mechanical engineering program is a program that we have tailored for international students. So that's of high importance to you attending this webinar here today. And also, if you move to the master education, we can see a number of programs that are well suited for you who are interested and will come to University West. So we have manufacturing engineering, we have welding technology, and what I can say also with regard to our program on welding technology is that this program is also aligned with the International Welding Engineering certification. So if you're enrolled in the welding technology program, you also have the possibility in executing and receiving an International Welding Engineering certification. So that's a unique thing that is not very well established anywhere in the world. So it's at University West in Sweden where you have this fantastic opportunity. And then we also have robotics and automation. We have AI and automation. we have operation, supply chain management. So those are the programs on master or second cycle education. And as I mentioned before, we have a research education, and the research education is within the field of production technology and take a stand from the 6 thematic research areas that I mentioned just on the previous slides. What we also do is that we, together with the industry, some of these 80 companies that I mentioned before, we deeply discuss with these companies what are the needs for you as a company in terms of developing the skills for your staff and what do you see in the future. So we develop short courses together with these companies, and the need and the development of these short courses together with the research within production technology also flows into all level of education that we have at University West. So you can be sure that the information and the development of the study programs that you face here at University West is very well aligned with the need of many competitive and international companies. If we move specifically to the research, the thematic research area of thermal spray, it's by international measures a very well recognized research group. So we have unique process capabilities within thermal spray. We can do plasma, high velocity air fuel, flame processing, etc., etc. So we work both with metallic materials, intermetallics, as well as ceramics. So basically the group is doing research in putting coatings on various type of substrates in order to increase the performance of various type of applications, where aerospace is one such field. But we also work with the tool industry, automotive, etc., etc. If we look at powder bed fusion, so powder bed fusion is a specific type of process under the flag of additive manufacturing. And I should also say that additive manufacturing has a very strong stand in Trollhättan. So Trollhättan is basically the capital of additive manufacturing in Sweden. So in terms of powder bed fusion, we have 2 state-of-the-art systems at the Production Technology Center. We have an electron beam-based system where we have a strategic partnership together with GE Collegium and Arcam. So we have adjunct researchers from these companies who are actually working together with us at University West. We also have a brand new laser-based system from Econity, where we can shape the energy source in a very novel manner in order to reduce some of the residual stresses, for instance, that is of prime concern when it comes to powder bed fusion and AM and welding in general. So here we do a lot of research, not at least in relation to aerospace, but also land-based gas turbines and other type of sectors. One of the largest group at University West, and also the largest academic research group in the Nordic countries, is with regard to welding and welding-based additive manufacturing. So here we work with a large variety of welding processes, such as solid-state type of welding, for instance, friction stir welding, ultrasonic welding. We work with arc processes as well as laser processes. And then in directed energy deposition type of processes, which in a more simplified term is what we refer to as welding-based additive manufacturing, then we work both with arc-based as well as with laser-based welding-based AM processes. And there one can utilize either a filler wire to build up things in 3D, or one can utilize powder. So we work heavily within both welding and welding-based type of AM. And in terms of material analysis, we do a lot of research when it comes to material science type of aspects and how is a material influenced by these type of processes that I mentioned before. So we have sophisticated systems in order to go deep into the material, in order to investigate how a material is behaving and why we have defects, for instance, when we do AM or welding, and how should we do in order to prevent these defects in the future. We also work heavily in terms of monitoring and control. So these processes are highly advanced and they have high need for control and monitoring systems. So we work closely also with our computer engineering group and also electrical engineering in order to bring other type of scientific disciplines into this field and how to help out within the research that we do in the whole Department of Engineering and Science. How should we improve these processes in order to make our companies, our partners, more competitive in the global community? And we have a wide spectrum of materials that we focus on, but the bottom line is that we work heavily on what we refer to as the high quality type of alloys. And that is, of course, aerospace, but it's also within the tooling industry. We work heavily within high-strength steels and stainless steel, etc. And we also do a fair amount of process simulation. We also work within non-destructive testing and evaluation. So where we are in particular strong is within various type of modeling when it comes to non-destructive testing and evaluation, and there are a large variety of different methods that can be applied in order to carry out non-destructive testing. And non-destructive testing is exactly as the definition says. It's a testing method that do not destroy the material. So it's has an important say to component qualification process. How should we rely on components that are, let's say, placed within an aero engine and on the wing of a large aircraft? How should we rely on the safety? Then non-destructive testing is very important. And here we have unique capabilities within the Production Technology Center. So we have a computer tomograph that is brand and top-notch, where we do a lot of research and sophisticated testing, not at least within the area of welding as well as thermal spray and additive manufacturing. And we also do a lot of modeling of ultrasonic testing. So ultrasonic testing and CT, or computer tomography, is very important areas to this research domain at University West. Flexible industrial automation is another area that has matured quite a lot during the years. So here we work with smart agents and plug and produce concepts where we have smart cells that are self-programming, and we do a lot of AI type of programming and system integration. We work on research that enables us as a human being to work close with the robotic systems without, for instance, having any physical fence in between the human being and the robot. So the bottom line with the research that is carrying out here is to increase flexibility in terms of automation. And here we have a new state-of-the-art education lab that we are very proud of. So here is a glance of our new state-of-the-art robotic lab or automation lab. So here we have more than 9 industrial ABB robots that you as a student will get hands-on experience in terms of labs and things like that are coupled to many of the aforementioned programs that are available within production technology. We also have an area, as I mentioned before, that is referred to operations supply chain management. So this is the newest research group at University West within production technology. And here we study, for instance, global supply chain and how these global supply chain operate under different circumstances. So we also look into various set of quality assurance models and lean management and a lot of different aspects tied to supply chain and quality. As I mentioned before, within the Department of Engineering Science, we also have electrical engineering. And electrical engineering is headed by Boel Ekegård. The competence within the field of electrical engineering is very important also on a global scale. So the ongoing electrification is absolutely crucial if we consider the climate transition. So the power system that we face now must be able to cope with the change while maintaining stability. So we have more efforts with regard to renewable energy sources, and that creates some challenges with stability, for instance. So the stable power system is a prerequisite for this to be successful in the future. And also the electrification within the automotive industry is also crucially important, and that's something that is a challenge, not at least with the aspect of rare earth metals, for instance. So this is something that is extremely important for the society, and that's also one of the drivers for this group and its research that is being done. And if we look at, for instance, the region around the city of Trollhättan and University West estimate that we need thousands of engineers within this discipline within the near future. So there's a great need within this area. And if we specifically look into the research areas of the electrical engineering at University West, it can be divided primarily into two domains. So we have the electrical power systems that is very much related to the stability of the system. So how will we cope with the stability when introducing, for instance, renewable power systems like wind power or solar power, etc.? How is that behaving within the complete chain where you have nuclear and hydropower, etc.? And then, as I mentioned before, we also have electrical drive lines. So how can we minimize the rare earth elements, for instance, from electrical motors and things like that with other type of materials? And the electrical engineering type of research is also tied to the research that we do within production technology. So for instance, I mentioned before solid state type of welding. So we do a fair amount of friction stir welding, for instance, which is highly important when it comes to the production, some of the production of electrical vehicles. If we look at the education platform within electrical engineering, is primarily on the master or second cycle type of education where we have possibilities. So there are two programs. We have one in electrical engineering and one that is more focusing on electrical vehicles. So those two platforms gives you unique opportunities to enhance your skills within the domain of electrical engineering. Then the last group is within computer engineering, and the research side of that group is led by Thomas Pedersson, who is a professor within computer science. And the research areas within computer science at University West is primarily focusing on 4 different areas. So one of the areas is cybersecurity. How do we make sure that data that is being transferred is safely captured and transported and stored? Another one is wireless networking and AI. There is a lot of aspects with regard to that domain. We have AI and sensor technologies. We have also emerging interaction technologies where we work on augmented reality and virtual reality and AI. And there is also a new state-of-the-art augmented reality and VR lab here on campus at University West, where you can get hands-on trials in terms of this type of technologies. In terms of education, there is one master program available as for now. It's a master program within cybersecurity, and it's a growing area. So we see every day that our partner companies, they ask for this type of knowledge platform for future engineers. So it becomes more and more of interest to the companies that we collaborate with. So just to give a summary or an overview of the programs that we offer here at University West. On the undergrad type of education, we have what I refer to as the International Mechanical Engineering Program. But then we have more opportunities when it comes to second cycle or master programs. So we have AI automation, and you can take that either as a 1 or 2 year program. We have cybersecurity, we have electrical engineering, electromechanical vehicle engineering, manufacturing engineering, operation and supply chain management, robotics automation, and then welding technology. And I have to say here that the welding technology is not 2 years, it's a 1 year program, and it's also aligned with the IWE certification. So by that, I just want to say that welcome to Trollhättan. I really look forward in welcoming you and to work together with you. So, thank you.
Thank you so much, Joel. So now we have the opportunity for you guys to ask us any questions you have, and as you will, your specific questions, but I will start with one. So you mentioned a lot of research. So what would you say are the greatest benefits for students like studying in this like kind of research heavy environment?
Yeah, so there are many benefits in terms of when it comes to the education platform that we have, and if you couple that to the extensive amount of research that we do at University West. So one such benefit is that we have a very tight collaboration with a number of companies, and this tight collaboration makes us or puts us in a very good positions when it comes to the education, and for us to align you as a student with our partner companies. So when it comes to student projects or thesis projects, or just getting in touch and having a dialogue with the individuals at this company, we have a very good platform. So I think that you get a jump start in terms of getting a foot into the industrial network, and I think that is of great benefit to you as an international student, that we can offer that type of collaboration.
We recently also had a study, or they did a survey in Sweden in general, how the students get established on the labor market, and University West scored second in Sweden when it comes to engineering students actually getting jobs. So I think that's also like a true proof of what you're saying. So we have this profile, work integrated learning. How would you exemplify that? It could sound kind of theoretical, but in like, how would a student notice that we have a profile within work integrated learning in the classroom, for example?
Yeah, so I think that is also something that refers a little bit to what I just said regarding the tight partnership with all these different companies, because we try to have a very deep mix in terms of theory as well as hands-on practice, and then also to invite our industrial stakeholders to come and provide guest lectures and try to send out students to these companies, so that we have a natural mix of classroom teaching with hands-on labs and industrial visits and industrial contacts to come to the classroom and to provide real examples of what is being done at the various companies. So there are many things to add to this, but that is one thing that I think is important.
Yeah. So would you say in general, for example, some of the programs have a 1 year and a 2 year option? Like what's the difference, and why do we offer both versions, and why should you pick one or the other?
Yeah, so for instance, if we just, there are many twists on this as well, but 1 year gives you not as deep maybe in terms of knowledge level, but you get the foundation to more quickly go into or go out to the industry, whereas the 2 year master is giving you a little bit a deeper knowledge within the area, and maybe something that is more well suited for a scenario where you want to push further into PhD studies. So, but there are many different aspects of this, because the 2-year master also usually gives you a larger thesis project, so you can stay longer and elaborate a little bit more together with the, let's say, an industrial stakeholder if you do a thesis project out at a company. But there are pros and cons for all this, both these two different options. So both are very good, I think. But one gives a little bit more depth, and the other one gives you a faster route to a job.
Yeah, and like we mentioned, a lot of the programs, like in Sweden in general, 1 year is usually enough. Like we said, a lot of the students get established on the labor market very quickly. So I see we got a specific questions regarding the welding program, why it's 1 year now. So we recently reworked it. I don't think that we have any plans to reworking it again to a 2-year. Do you have any additional?
No. So we do not intend to make any rework again. So now we started it up a couple of years ago, and we have evaluated, and we feel that a 1-year program with regard to welding technology is more suited in terms of what our industrial stakeholders have communicated. And it's also more or better aligned with the International Welding Engineering Certification. So we feel that this is a natural rework that was needed.
Yeah, and I think also that's a testament to us being very agile with the programs, not necessarily continuing a program for the sake of continuing it, and listening very closely to industry. So if you are planning to go in that area, you will still get the skills you need and that are sought after, but much quicker. So I think it's a good way to show that we keep it agile here. Yes. And it's also for us, like due to us being quite young, I guess.
Yeah.
And also I want to mention, if you have any other questions that you feel are not necessarily related to the webinar today or very specific regarding a specific program, you can ask us via email or via the QR code. You have a contact form, but feel free to email us any of your questions and we will answer them outside of this webinar. But continue asking questions in the Q&A anyway. So, you travel a lot, I assume.
Yes, a bit. I was in India last week.
Oh, exciting.
Yes.
I'm going in 2 weeks.
Okay, nice.
So we travel a lot here. But how would you say, first of all, like Sweden in general, not necessarily the study environment, how does Sweden, if you're not from Sweden, how would you describe it compared to many of the other countries you've seen?
Yeah, that's a very good question.
Difficult one.
I reflect on this every time I go abroad. But one thing that I can say is that Sweden in general is very informal. So when I teach, for instance, I don't expect the students to call me professor or so. We have a very informal relation. So, and it's also a very open type of dialogue. So. They are allowed even to interrupt me if they want that, and they don't even have to knock on my office door when they want to reach me. Usually I say that they ask me, are you busy? And I'm always busy, but they don't care. They come into my office anyhow, and that's totally okay with me. So it's an informal relationship in between students and professors. That's a very, I think, obvious and clear difference compared to other companies. And I can tell for sure because I have had a professor appointment, let's say, at University of Manitoba in Winnipeg, Canada for many years. And I also a visiting professor at VIT in Chennai in India. So I travel quite a lot and I see a lot, and I'm happy about the climate that we have in Sweden in terms of the relationships between teachers and students. So it's open, informal and friendly.
Might be a bit difficult getting used to it in the beginning.
Yeah, that is a transition, to be honest. And I notice it a lot, especially when I have new PhD students from various countries. They are a little bit uncomfortable in the beginning talk the way we do. They are raised in a certain manner, and but they usually adapt after a couple of months, and then we bring it on an informal level.
Yeah.
So it's,
I know I traveled with another professor, and he had a WhatsApp group with his students, and they like played soccer together. So that's also like a very good proof that it's actually very informal. And I hear a lot of students actually saying that that's a great way of learning, that you don't necessarily feel afraid to say the wrong thing or ask the stupid questions, that it's a more friendly environment, that it opens up for free thinking.
Exactly. So we grow and we learn together.
Yeah.
So that's usually, even if I'm a professor, I have to be humble into the fact that I'm not always right, and nothing makes me more happy than if my students can prove me wrong. So,
yeah.
So it's nice to have an open and a dialogue, and there are no stupid questions. Just fire off with the questions. And I always say that maybe I can't answer all questions, but if we don't put them out there in the air, then we don't grow together. So we need to explore certain areas together.
I feel like that's a great classroom environment and a very good learning environment. So we have a specific question from a potential student who have actually read one of your recent papers and is asking about the possibility for master students to participate in projects such as PodFam, which you are a participant in.
A very good question. So there are possibilities for you as a master student primarily to participate in some research project. That's something that we do regularly. But it's always a case-by-case scenario because it depends on the fact that we have funding available, and also that you as a student have the time to actually engage in this. So every student is an individual case in terms of capabilities and what can be done or not. So, but it's definitely a possibility to be engaged, and something that we encourage. So there have been many students who have participated throughout the years in a research project that is going. So the answer to your question is yes, but it's also case by case.
Yeah, of course. So if someone is about to embark on a distance program, not studying here at the university in Sweden, how would they see the benefits of work-integrated learning?
Yeah. I mean, of course, you get maybe more deep engagement within the university, as well as together with our industrial network if you're here in place. But we provide also industrial input, etc., through our digital platforms such as Canvas, etc. So it's still possibilities, and of course a lot of opportunity to engage with our industrial stakeholders. So it's for sure a lot of opportunities also for distance students.
Yeah, and I think also a good structural benefit is that we work before producing the programs, during development of the programs, evaluating the courses. All of that is also a part of the integrated learning philosophy, like having close contact, always keeping the ear to the ground. Yeah. And those are more like indirect benefits of the integrated learning way of thinking and learning. So when it comes to the classroom, is it possible to say something in general of how large the classes are?
Well, it differs, but I would say I've seen anything from 10 people up to 60 people, depending on the specific course and program. But I think, at least from what I've been involved in, it's the most usual scenario is around 20 people. That's what I've been used to, but it differs a little bit. But it's a good mix, I think, in terms of the size, and we always try to tailor and optimize the type of teaching depending on the population or the group size. So it works very well, I would say, irrespective of the size of the group.
Yeah, and I think that differs a lot depending on country, but I think that the relatively small classrooms also benefit from that. Like we mentioned before, the informal environment, it's easier to feel comfortable in a smaller classroom.
Yeah.
So I got a question about the webinar specifics. Yes, this will be recorded, and we will publish it afterwards on our YouTube channel if you want to listen to it again, or if you missed any specifics. And once again, if you feel like you're not getting answers to the questions you're having, feel free to contact us in the other ways. We are offering the email or the QR code via the leads, the contact form. So we talked a lot about the student environment, but I feel like it's very interesting. So in Sweden, we also work a lot in group projects. Yes. Would you say that is quite unique, or is that common, and what are the benefits?
I mean, I said before that we grow together, and if we don't share or ask questions that we have on our mind, then we don't grow, and we don't grow together. So the group work that we do is one of the intention is that you should share your knowledge and help each other, because when you share your knowledge and you help someone else, that's when you truly learn. So that's why we try to encourage that. And I think that in Sweden primarily we are quite good in teamwork, I would say, in Sweden, because we are not very many people, so we have to work together, the few of us that exist. So that's something that we try to mentor you in and try to learn you. How do you make the best out of a group? How should you use your best skills in the groups in order to achieve something bigger?
Yeah, and also like when going into the labor market and in working life, you rarely do stuff entirely on your own.
Exactly.
So it's a good life skill to have, I feel.
Yes.
So just a quick question regarding the welding program specifically. Can you tell us a bit more about the certification you get? Because I have a specific question. Do you qualify for a professional license after the completion of the program?
Yeah, so basically I have to be careful now so I don't say anything that is wrong. But basically, the International Welding Engineering Certification is authorized by the authorization body in Sweden that is named the Swedish Welding Commission. So they have authorized University West as a training body for International Welding Engineering, IWE as well as IWT. When you're enrolled to the welding technology program, you take the same type of courses that is included in the standard IWE training program. And then when you're finalized all these courses, then you're offered to take an external exam that where the Swedish Welding Commission is responsible for. So you pay a very small fee to the Swedish Welding Commission to take this external exam, and if you pass that exam, then you will be offered the IWE certification. So this is a unique setup because most training bodies, they offer the IWE certification as a standalone program, and then it's quite expensive. But you get it almost free of charge. It's just external exam that you have to pay when you pass the different courses that you take within the welding master. So I would say that it's a superb program, and if I were choosing a master program again, then this would be my program.
Yeah, it's good to be quite quickly, right away, professional in such a specific field and have that.
And the IWE certification is also something that is highly attractive out in the manufacturing industry.
So I think that's proof that going down from 2 years to 1 year doesn't lower the
bar. No,
exactly.
No, definitely not.
That's good to hear. So I got also another question regarding logistics and supply chain management. Why would you recommend someone to study within this field in Sweden, and maybe at University West specifically, instead of, for example, other European countries or America?
Yeah, I mean, in Sweden we see that this type of area is growing more and more. And it's growing more and more, not at least with regard to the various type of challenges that we face within the global community today. So we have various type of tariffs, etc., that shake the supply chain perspective on different levels. So this program is important from that perspective, trying to understand from a supply chain context what happens, let's say, if you have sudden increment in tariffs from one country to another or one region to another. How should you tackle that? And what happens if you have a conflict somewhere in the world? How do that interfere with the supply chain? Or what happens if you have like something with regard to the climate change, for instance, you have some sort of disrupt somewhere? How is that interfering with the supply from a supply chain concept? So from that perspective, this program gives you a very good insight on how to tackle those challenges. And of course, all countries, they have their own type of challenges, and all regions have their own challenges. But this program gives you a good base and knowledge, irrespective of where you work in the world. You get a good knowledge, a good base, and understanding for this type of concept.
And also, how would you say that the reputation for Swedish education in general is globally?
I would say that the reputation, at least that I encounter when I'm out traveling, and I'm out traveling quite a lot, is that we have a very good reputation both in education and research. I mean, University West is a small university, it's the youngest university in Sweden, but despite the fact that we are young people, young, agile, we are internationally recognized among several research areas. And these research areas provide the foundations for many of our educational platforms. So the research that we're doing flows into the education and brings up the standard of the education. So that's the whole idea of doing the research that we're doing, so that we can get top-notch educations for you.
And also, I see that we have a question specifically regarding electromechanical vehicle engineering. I know this is not your specialty, but in general, why should you study that program?
I mean, there is a huge need for this type of development. And Sweden has a very long tradition within the automotive industry. I mean, we are not very far from Volvo Cars. We had the all Saab automobile within the city of Trollhättan. Now it's Nevs. We have Polestar, another car brand. So there are many different car brands that are within the region around the city of Trollhättan. So for Sweden as a country, this type of education platform is extremely important in order to push the boundaries of what's possible with the next generation type of driveline systems. So from that perspective, this is very important.
Yeah. And also, if you have any more specific questions regarding syllabus and other courses, feel free to contact us on this general email, and we will send you through to the right person, to the program manager, if you have very specific questions. So contact us if you want more details, and we will send your email to the right person. So yes, we will. If you also want a PowerPoint presentation afterwards, you can also contact us and we will send it to you. We won't be publishing it as a whole, but if you want it to read it more closely, you can get in contact and we will gladly send it to you. So more specifically about Trollhättan, like you mentioned, this region in Sweden is quite heavy on the vehicle engineering. But I would also say I hear a lot of engineering companies in general in the western part of Sweden. Is this true?
Absolutely. So I would say that the majority of the Swedish industry is very much located to this region. So we have the Volvo Group, we have Volvo Cars, we have the Swedish Hydropower Company, we have GKN Aerospace. So there are many different companies. We have the well-known roll-bearing company SKF, for instance. So there are a number of very large companies that are who have main activities in the region where University West is located. So.
And many of them hire internationally, of course.
Absolutely.
Which is also good for you as international students to know that, of course, the benefit, there's always a benefit of speaking a bit of the language. That's why we're offering Swedish courses for all our international students. But many of them do not require Swedish as a skill, so to speak. If someone were to, I have a question, someone looking into both manufacturing engineering and the welding program, is there any possibility to study both? Do you have to read one or the other, or how should they think about this?
Yeah, if you're interested, if you have a broader interest than primarily welding, I would recommend that you focus on the manufacturing program. I think that is more well suited if you have a broader interest and a broader vision on what you would like to do for the future. So that's my recommendation. I would not recommend to take the two programs at the same time. That will be too high challenge, I would say.
I have a question regarding industrial placement. Could you say something in general? How is the opportunity in our programs in general, and how does that work?
I mean, in general, I'm not highly involved in the industrial placement, but I indirectly work towards industrial placement all the time with PhD students and students of different levels. But basically, you start to discuss with the teachers, the lecturers, the professors, and then you start to declare, okay, what are my interests with regard to my field of study? And then you start to listen in and try to get your understanding into the industrial platform around the university and within the scope of your interest. And then together with the teacher, etc., then you contact individuals at these companies and you initiate discussions and you start to build up a relation. And this, of course, is your own responsibility to do that, but we will help you in doing it and in initiating and establishing the contact with the companies. But you need to work actively yourself in order to be successful.
That's a great answer. So you live here in Trollhättan, where the university is located. How would you describe the city?
Well, that's a very good question. Well, apparently I like the city because I was born here and raised here. I was only away for a couple of years during my education and research because University West was not as widely developed as it is today. But I think that Trollhättan, it's at least in my taste, it's a small town and it's close to travel with. I mean, you can go anywhere in Trollhättan within a reasonable amount of time, and you can also take a bike and you can reach all over the place just by utilizing a bike, or there is a well-established bus network, so it's very easy to commute around the city. You don't have to spend 1 or 2 hours commuting, so you get more quality time in a city like this. And also I find that when you are in a small town, it becomes a little bit more friendly based, so you get to know people more easily. So that's my personal opinion. But
of course, colored by living here
yes.
all life, but that's a good grade for the city, so to speak.
Yeah.
And now we are really close to having this webinar for 1 hour, and that's our deadline. So thank you so much, primarily Joel, for having to be here and presenting to all you students and families and other who have listening in. I will publish this webinar on our YouTube soon, the recording. And if you want the presentation, like I said, reach out and we will send it to you. And thank you everyone again for listening, and hope to see you here in Sweden soon.